So a few months back, I did a video going over a particular songwriting technique where you just take one riff, one monster riff, and use that as the main theme throughout the entire song, but you kind of play it differently along the way, depending on what part you're in, verses, choruses, bridges, things like that, by playing it with different dynamics. You know, whatever the riff is, sometimes it's got tighter muting picking, you know, sometimes it's got open picking or big open chords, or sometimes you arpeggiate the chords, or you can trill pick the chords, but the point is, it's just the same riff, but it's gotta be a great riff. So that's a challenge, just coming up with a great riff, but anybody can stumble upon one if they put their mind to it, right? So at any rate, it's harder to put together just a lot of riffs. I mean, I do that. I put together a lot of riffs in many songs, you know, like Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, they all do that. But there are certain bands that can get away with just one big killer riff throughout a song, playing it different ways throughout. So that's what I was showcasing in that last video. But I've found another great example here, or I've not found, but thought of one, and it's been a song I've loved for years. And this is a better example because it's a far more popular song than the first one I showcased. This one, I guarantee, over the past few decades, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people have enjoyed this song. It's a killer one. So we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna play it for you here. You know, I hope you could sit through 5 minutes, but I'm gonna add commentary throughout the way, talk about different things that are happening, what's going on a little bit, what I'm thinking maybe here and there, but we'll check out the song in case you haven't heard it. And if you have heard it, hey, just sit back and enjoy it. Watch me try to play it. I've never tried to play it. You know, I kind of went over, well, I was gonna say a couple of the riffs, but there's really only one riff with a couple variations. And there's some cool overdubs and leads that happen, but still, again, just the premise of this is that it's just one monster riff primarily throughout the whole song. It's picked a couple different ways and a couple parts, but should be cool. And I'll meet you back on the other side where we'll discuss things. So strap in, subscribe if you haven't already, and here we go. Just One Fix by Ministry.
Give me that Dorsey, man. You don't need the Dorsey. Oh, it's a Dorsey. Relax.
All right, so it's a song I've loved forever. It's off Ministry's Psalm 69 record. I can't remember what year it came out, but I'm going to say early 90s. I'm just taking a guess. I suppose I could have looked that up, but I didn't. But there's a bunch of cool songs on that one. The first one, New World Order, Jesus Built My Hot Rod, a classic. And I think New World Order is probably the same type of thing where it's just like kind of the same riff over and over again. But I remember falling in love with this song. Me and my buddy, when we were like 13 or 14, took a family trip up to Alaska with his family. And we just had one CD player between the two of us, but a splitter. And so we just sat in the back seat of the car on these long ass drives, listened to the same stuff. And somehow we had this CD with us, Psalm 69. And we must have listened to this album, especially this song, over and over again on repeat for hours and hours at a time over the course of many days, just over and over again. And it was just a really cool thing. And I still hear Just One Fix on the radio all the time. But there we go. Look at that. You see how just a big driving riff, like I said, with a cool beat, obviously interesting vocals, very interesting atmospheric, like lead lines happening and stuff. So those type of things are important. And that's how you can spice up a song, you know, make it a greater recipe just with different things going on, but still it's got that foundational riff going on. And that's the type of thing that I'm trying to impress here with this video, because I see so many comments from guys struggling saying like, okay, I've got these riffs, but how do I put them together? And I have videos teaching that type of stuff too. What I think about when I'm putting riffs together. And again, like in my band Chimera, all of our songs pretty much have multiple riffs happening. But Mark Hunter, our singer, over the years would every once in a while bring up that we needed to do a song. We never really accomplished this. There's a couple examples. Maybe our song Black Heart off our, what is that, the Infection record? Can't remember right now. Killing the Beast maybe off of, is that on Resurrection? I don't know, but he was a big fan, is a big fan of like Nine Inch Nails and Rammstein and probably Ministry and stuff. And a lot of those bands, Rammstein, I think that their biggest song, Du Hast, I think it's like a main theme kind of throughout. And he would say that those are the type of songs that get people's attention, get people dancing and moving. And one great example is a lot of these songs, like, not that I've been to a strip club in years, but you'd hear these songs played at strip clubs. You're not gonna hear like some Dying Fetus or like Necrophagia song or something in a strip club. No disrespect to those bands, I love them both, but like, you know, it's big songs that get people's attention and that people can fall in love with. And this is just an example of one way you can create that by thinking about it a little bit differently. Instead of getting together a bunch of riffs, concentrate on one big riff and make it the theme of your song, and just think about how you can break that down. Get with your other bandmates. Maybe you can lay out a formula without talking to anybody else. A lot of people write music that nowadays like that just by themselves and present it to their band. But if you can maybe work with your drummer, your vocalist, if you have that, and talk about the dynamics of the tune while keeping the theme of a big riff going, I think that can be helpful. And just another tool in your toolbox there when it comes to songwriting that you may be able to implement that I just think people don't really think about. I'm often not thinking about just one riff for a song, but I'm thinking about it more now as these examples keep popping up for me. So that's it. Just wanted to show that off. Give Just One Fix a try for yourself. That riff was super easy, just in standard E. You saw some of the tab there. It's available all over, the web and stuff. So if you feel like giving that a try, and just, I hope you think about that and that maybe this video gave you a little bit of inspiration. Again, if you did, please make sure you subscribe, hit that like button for me. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought, what you think of that concept, things like that. But keep it positive. I'm Rob Arnold. Hope you enjoyed it. Signing off now, and I'll see you again on the next one.